Hello, my name's Ralph and welcome back to the channel. It's my time, let's go. We kind of left off last week. I was just getting the front piston on and we worked ahead a little bit from there. So come along with us and we'll have a look and see how things are going in the shop. So now we'll go to the rings and start with our expander ring here. And they can be placed in all kinds of directions. I've heard so many other different things, but as long as things are staggered at 90 degrees, that's generally where they should go. Oh, we're going to shoot some oil in there. Oil that up good. Find our split. And I usually like to put it at the rear of the piston. There's so many varying ideas as to where rings go. And I put these at 90 degrees, each one. No, I find it just as easy to go by hand. And whichever one it lets to go in there first is the one I deal with. There we go, this top groove is the easiest first. Has to go in the bottom, so be sure you're started in the bottom of the groove. Say the least. Sometimes they pop right in there and you go, geez, that was easy. Make sure you're in the bottom groove. Okay, once it's in there, it's not that hard to get them around. I'm gonna just pull up on the end out here. Just got to get it over that top one. Sometimes it wants to hang up on the upper one. That's why I like to get the bottom one in first if I can. Okay, we're in, and I'm just gonna rotate the whole pack 90 degrees where I wanted it. There we are. All right. Then we get our second one in there. We use our expanders for that. Get them down to the second groove. Just expanded enough to get it to pop in where it wants to go. And then our top one. Sometimes things go easy and quick. Sometimes you just got to make sure you hold in your mouth the right way. Take our second ring, go around here with it, and give our top ring hold the second ring there, our top ring about there. Okay, now I need some gaskets. And we're using James coated gaskets. And they're of course different for your front and your rear. They look different. The rear has the large area here. But we're on the front one now. Just gonna take our little plates off. Slide our gasket down over. And there is a little nib on it here that you can match up with this. So if you're wondering which way it goes, the wide side out over there. Stick our installation plates back in. Roll it around so that our piston sits solid on there. So we'll get our cylinder ready and we oil up the piston really well. Move it up for now, away from the engine gaskets and such. Oil it up really well so that the ring compressor and stuff can slide easily on the rings. Take our ring compressor and oil it up. And the ring compressor always has a bottom arrow that points down towards the bottom, and that's the way you want to put it on. Again, make sure ring compressor's on straight. Tiny bit of a lip up top. Very easily check to see that you're down past all the rings. Just rotate the engine up enough to get our compressor out. And just slide it back down onto the plate. Go. Didn't exactly make it easy for me today. Some days you're the windshield, some days you're the bug. Just take the plates out. Carefully slide it down over by our gasket, making sure not to pinch it. Alright, one in a row. I'm going to grab some nuts here to put on it. These ones did have a triangle plate on them like the 80s. And the studs are quite long, so we're going to put them on just lightly right now. Once I'm done, I'll be going along, and they also have up written on them. So that up has to be up. Just put those on there for the time being. Just to hold it in place while we work on our other cylinder, which I hope goes easier than the first one. Okay. Let's get her up. Where we can get the piston on it. And we'll get our other piston. Now pistons come with all sorts of different markings. These ones have a dot on it here, but they also have a tit on the web right here. And anytime you see one or the other, like the web piece here or the dot, that means it goes to the right hand side of the engine. Yeah. Push it in. There we go. Got my bigger ones here. Hopefully it will go a little easier than those little ones. Make sure I can move it around in the groove freely, and that it's at the top. Oh, a little bit of a patient tester today. Expander ring on. Here. On this side of this one. It's not on the thrust face. Started in the bottom one this time. This is where I wanted the other one. Makes it way easier to get the upper one on. groove. There we go. Rotate it back around. Okay. Second ring. And the top ring, which has no dot. So it can go either way. Rotate the rear one around to here. That's where I want them. Okay. Just take these off for a moment. Sure, we got our gasket in there. Good. Okay. Coat of oil on the inside of the cylinder. Center that up. Lift it up a little bit. There we go. Down, keep it off our studs. Take those off. I feel like it's one of those days where I shouldn't have got out of bed. Our gasket is in there good. There we are. Quite often you got to put the head bolts in before. I think that it seems to me that these ones just enough room for that one. Usually I have to put them on first. That will go in there. Check the other one. I believe it's this one here. Yeah, it's that one there that won't go in. So. It's no big deal, we'll just lift them up a little bit, but it's oil our head bolts up here. Might have noticed our little plates there because we don't have the lifter blocks in. I made these little plates to bolt down. And again, keeps you from losing anything if you don't have your lifter blocks on. And as you've seen, we could drop a key down in there or a clip. We'll have to bolt this thing down pretty quick. Go. So don't forget these two outer corners, or you won't be very happy once you put it all together. These ones almost went in without it. That one does, but in most cases they won't. It's funny, you see a mismatch of things from 74 to 80 when things were crossing over, like these bottom pieces. The early ones had lock washers on them, oddly enough. So now comes the fun part there. We're just about ready. We're going to put our heads on. We've tightened the motor down in the stand so it's tight now, and I've gone around and tightened all the base gaskets down. They're 35 to 45 pounds, so Kurt used to always say, put a bar on it that big and a man pull it, it'd be 65 pounds. So we've got a tool kind of like this that I've had to ground down some here because they never do fit, but it'll go in there at an angle so you can get a pretty good pull on it. Now we've got our head gaskets on, and being particularly conscious of where the oil hole is here, and that all our bolts line up when the oil hole is on the oil hole. It's easy to put it on and not have the oil hole lined up. I've seen that done, and it just builds up oil on the top. Makes an awful mess. So we'll go along and start putting it on. The nice thing about doing all the work before, when it comes to this point, you don't have to stop and do your heads. Go. Might as well try to get this one in first. A little snap-on tool extension like this from Snap-on 9/16. It's great for working your bolts up in there and getting them started. Oiled all the threads on my head bolts so that they're nice and clean. Wire wheeled them all off, cleaned them off, and then put oil on them. Oh, we're not in on that one yet. I thought I was. Thought I was on that one. And you can see these little plates keep us from dropping things down inside. Oh, feels like we're in there this time. Set the other one on. So we'll go along and put those on and get them snugged up, and then we'll get ready to torque them down. We're going to fit our manifold in here to make sure it fits right. Fit our oil line across here. I got to dig out my pieces. I've got my ends here, my little rubbers. I just need a little piece, this little piece, and you always want to get it on with your rocker boxes. Otherwise you've got to bend and twist it. I think I put rubbers in here. I did. So I can fit my new rubbers in there. Set them in there because these are really long, so when the heads are loose you can get it to fit in there. So remember, when you put your head bolts in, the oil them all up real good here, and put some oil around here. That way when they go up and torque in, they're not dry. So I think I'm just going to go around and tighten these down now, snug them up for today. I'm not going to torque them or anything. It's after 5 and I've had a long day. So I'm just going to get them sort of snugged up into position, and then we can finish up tomorrow, maybe. We'll see how my day goes tomorrow. I have other things on my plate for tomorrow, but I'm going to try to get some work done on this. I'd like to get the carb on it and things like that. I still am doing an alteration to the lifter blocks, so I don't have them done yet and painted. But we'll get there. So I'm going to leave it there today, and I'm pretty happy with where we've gotten along. Didn't forget to put my other one in here. Gotta get some new rubbers and get that in there as well. And I don't have the fitting at the top, so I have to source out the fitting and get that in. But we made some headway today. I'm pretty happy with that. And it's got to put a smile on your faces. Margaret's starting to look like something. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to put black blocks in it. I've got lower black pushrod tubes for it and a few other things, but now she's starting to look like something. And it's been a long haul, but like I say, everything takes time, and not to rush it, and it will happen. It will happen, and you'll feel better that you didn't rush it as you went along. So the weekend's gone by, and as usual, I'm still puttering away with things. Something that I did want to point out that I ran into, and I never really realized it till afterwards, and this can be an easy mistake to make, especially if you have access to a bunch of gaskets and you're not sure what quite you got. I had put the cylinders on, and I used James base gaskets, as I like to use sometimes. I'm trying them to see how they'll work out for a little longer term. And I bought James base gaskets for a shovel head. I had a package up on the wall in plastic. There was no writing on it, no nothing. I hadn't, a set of rocker box gaskets, 2 head gaskets and some base gaskets. And I looked at them and I never paid much attention. I thought, well, I could probably use those. So I got those out, and I took out the head gasket and I put it on the engine and bolted the head down and everything. Never thought much more about it. Well, the weekend went by and I puttered away at other things, and it kept kind of thinking about it. And by Monday morning when I came over, had my bench cleaned up, but I still had that package there, so I picked it up. I don't care to use those rocker box gaskets, and when I picked it up, I noticed that the base gasket had a hole right here. You know, so it's not a stud hole, it's this hole. It was quite common in high performance cases and such to mill down through the cases or drill conjunction two holes that met up to allow excess oil to get back down. It was kind of a horsepower thing. And my gaskets didn't have it, and these did. And as soon as I picked them up, I thought to myself, maybe those are big bore. You know, they slid on the cylinders. I was quick going along with things, put them on. And so I've had to pull the top off. Sure enough, they were big bore gaskets. So I'll let you have a look at the difference here and how they're very subtle. And if you're just rooting through stuff and you're not well versed in it, you might mistake it and put it on, as I did. So let me show you. So when you pick the gaskets up, they may appear to be very similar. You know, you hold them up everywhere, and when all the holes line up and the oil holes here and everything looks like it's supposed to be, and you go, well, that's a shovel gasket, I'll use that. Now if I hold one side over even with the other, there's a slight difference there. And you know, it's a 1/16 of an inch or so, because these are an 1/8 bigger, so 1/16 of an inch on each side maybe. I'm not sure of the measurement, but in any case, it's ever so slight. So I went over to my motor, and here's what I'll show you, and a good way for you to check and not make that mistake. First off, I'm going to put a stock one on here, and we'll get it sort of lined up. And as you can see, if I grab it, there is a little bit of movement. There's a little bit of leeway there. Okay. So what I'm also going to do now is I'm going to lay the big bore one right on over top of it. And we can see here quickly, see the gap? You know, now that even though it's big bore, the hole pattern is the same. It remains the same. So it could go on there and fit, but you would get heat come out this area, and I think very quickly it would start to burn across the holes. If we look at this one again, see there's not much of anything. You look in the lighted sides there a little bit, gives you a little bit better. So this is the one we need. This is the one we don't. So it's a small mistake, but you do often see things unpackaged, or guys will sell you boxes of gaskets and things like that. But chances are, you know, that they're a big bore base set of gaskets and are a little bit bigger. But if you see that hole, it could be a big bore. And the gaskets. Easy mistake to make, and I know some guys say shouldn't have to show that. Oh, look at him, he screwed up on it. Yeah, well, I did screw up on it. And I'm just trying to pass on the information about it, that's all. You know, it could happen to anybody. It happened to me. I was in a hurry, it was Friday, I was working away and things are on the go, put them on. But fortunately we've caught it, so it's just a little something that I'm hoping that I can help some others out with there, and that's what I'm here for, is to try and pass on what I can. All right, let's get on with it. Well, it's getting on in the day, and I got quite a few things done today. Feel pretty good about that, but there's always more to be done. There's always more small pieces. Today, we're, you know, as the motor's coming together, now we need to think about putting the ignition system in. And we've got a weight set, and this was the weight set that was in Margaret. And I'm going to take it apart, inspect it. We want to see if the shafts are good in here, or if these weights are wallowed out, and we're going to put new springs on it and do the best we can so the weight set will perform like it should, because I'm going to put like a Dyna S type ignition in it, and the weights are an important part of it, and a really important functioning piece. So let's have a look. So we're just going to start with our weight set here. We're going to try and get the springs off, and they're just hooked around the shaft. Should be able to pick that right off there. Go. Now with the springs off, should be able to just pull it to the side, and we'll wiggle this one off. we'll wiggle that one off. Now we inspect the plate here to see if any of these holes, first sign of too much wear on it is these holes get ovaled out. And these ones look to be in pretty good condition here. And the pins also get worn, these small pins. So, but these pins look good. Evidently somebody had greased them at one time. And these seem to fit good in them. You can check them by putting them over there and seeing how much wiggling there is in them. There's a little bit of play in them, no doubt. And check the pins in the bottom of them for any wear, because these are the things that go up against the holes, and ours are in pretty good shape. So we really just need to replace the springs. I'm going to put new springs on it, so I'm just going to cut them. Make my life a little bit easier. Straighten it up and cut that. And just pull the other end right out. And we'll take a new one. Just start it in the hole. Shove it down through the hole. Kind of keep it in the direction you want it here until it snaps out through the bottom. You can no longer pull up on it. So we just make sure that that's seated. Yep. And the same with the other one. I'm just going to bend it up and break it off. You see, that was, as soon as I bent it, the spring broke, so it was really brittle there as it was. So it's due for a new one. Get that started in there. Make sure that it's through the hole. Spread out a little bit there, so it can't come back out. Looks great. Tune-up grease, some dielectric grease, and we'll grease the shafts. There. The dielectric grease is made special so it supposedly won't bother electrical components. But these need to be greased up, and the springs. Pliable. There we go. Okay. And we'll just put that one down there like that on the shaft, making sure our pin's in the hole. And we put our other one in there. Line your pin up with the hole. And then this just has to go over top of the stud. Make sure it's seated into the groove there. Good. Pop this one in. Just pop it over. Oops. The old spring piece. Don't need that in there. And there it is. Our new spring set, advanced weight set. It's got new springs, it's all greased up. See that the springs are opening and closing like they should. We won't be using that points unit because we have a different centerpiece for it to go with the other ignition. So there you go. That was easy and only took a few extra minutes to fool with it. put some good springs in it, and it's just one more thing that we've had our hands on. Now it can go in the nose cone, and we know what kind of shape it's in. Don't have to worry about it. Those springs are very brittle, as you've seen. The second spring just broke right off as soon as I went to bend it. So it's a good thing I replaced them, or that would have run into trouble like we've had before. Flew apart like happened last year on Frank's bike, and all the advanced timing was gone on an old trigger. Look at that. She's ground right through the back of the plate, and look what we got. I wouldn't say that that's very good. Okay, so another piece of the puzzle. So if you enjoyed this video today, like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, do those kind of things. It helps us to grow. I hope that you're getting a little something out of this as we go. I'm getting some satisfaction out of this, and this is a big chunk of the puzzle finished. So we'll just keep plugging along with the wheels and all the other things that we got to do. But she'll come. We'll have her going this summer, I have no doubt. So stick with us. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and we'll just keep plugging along. See you next week.